Welcome to the Dread label. Welcome to the Dread umbrella now. Congratulations on Don't Log Off. How are you feeling, both of you? How does it feel?
Crazy. First of all, thank you so much for having us. Like this film
Yeah, absolutely.
this film was conceived in such a crazy, weird, unpredictable, never could have predicted way. So the fact that it is here getting the life that it's gotten and the fact that we got to finish it and take our time with it and finish it the way that we wanted to finish it, we're just so grateful. And yeah, just like excited to hear how people respond to it because it's been, yeah, living in our brains for the past
I
couple of
love
years.
it. Hell yeah. Well, so I wanted to hear how the two of you decided to collaborate because this is your first, I know that I think Garrett, you've acted in some of Brandon's stuff, but how did you guys decide to collaborate together on this as like writers and directors, and as your first kind of collab as together as filmmakers?
I'm glad you brought that up. I think, I have several bones to pick with my childhood. One of which was Brand just marching me out, forcing me to read scripts at age 7 and 8, and I was mediocre at best, shall we say? But I think at a certain point, our tastes, I think, aligned. As we entered sort of professional life, Brand sort of came up assisting in TV and film. I came up assisting more on the theater side of things, and we were always
Oh, cool.
totally. We just feel very lucky that our sensibilities, I think, complement one another. We uh, I think we started writing together first, which
Okay.
that is a solitary process. So all of the fighting takes place behind closed doors. And we have a big sister as well, and she plays referee. And when we get out of line, she smacks us around a little bit. Um, and so I think most of our 20s were spent writing together. We had a staged reading that we were um, approached to do to co-direct. And ultimately, when you're in a room with other people theatrically, you've got to make decisions very quickly. You got to develop shorthand on a fly. We don't really know how it works. We just know like that it works. And I am the left hand, Brandon's the right hand, Brandon's the left hand, I'm the right hand. Like we just, for whatever reason, we took a lot of time smoothing out our language and our vocabulary, writing behind closed doors. And then ultimately, our first jump into co-directing something was live people in one room together.
Oh, okay, just
And
like throwing you into the deep end real fast. Like, all right, let's see how you do. Good luck.
Honestly.
rule number one is never fight in front of the children. And so we that was, I think, our quickest. Yeah, that was our quickest foray. We've co-directed plays before, and ultimately, cinematically, I think this was the final missing piece. Co-written together, co-directed plays before, and figured might as well jump. Brand, was that
The only
was
thing that you missed is that when we were kids and you were in all of our projects is you were such a ham. So you were hysterical. But as
amazing.
far as yeah, as far as our collaboration, yeah, we never really planned it. It just all sort of organically came together and that we started working on a script like right out of college and that went really well and then we got represented together and sold our first pitch in the digital space and next thing we knew, we had the opportunity to direct together and we tried that and it just went so well and we're excited to continue going. Yeah.
Hell yeah. And you guys still want to work together. It was good enough that you guys want to keep doing it together. Hopefully.
I mean, all of our projects. So we do have a number of projects
I
in
mean, yes,
development,
yes.
and they're all together. So yes, certainly,
Yay!
yes, like
I feel
across the
very
board.
lucky. I feel lucky that he lets me continue to ride his coattails.
Ditto, ditto, ditto.
But okay, so I'm a found footage slash like Screenlife aficionado, so I was very excited about this because I am a Blair Witch Project tattoo. I'm a found footage psychopath, so I was very
Love.
stoked about this. I know that it is way harder than people think to do this format specifically, especially when you have 4 to 5 to 6 different screens and interfaces and text messages. So I would love to hear about how y'all tackled that and because I mean, you've probably seen the videos of like hosts and everything. So how did y'all tackle this on your end and how difficult, how complicated was it versus what you were expecting?
We so appreciate that, Mary Beth. I mean, it was such a grueling process, and we knew it was going to be challenging because we had friends of ours who worked on a number of Screen Life projects, and so we did have a window into that
Um,
world, and so that was really, really helpful. but we still had no idea how challenging it was going to be because it's always 10 times harder. It is like making an animated movie and a live action movie at the same time, but like
Oh,
making
I've never heard it
live
described
action
like
movies.
that. That's so cool,
Yeah.
though. That is so true, though.
And it's like you're cutting, it's like there's so many phases to the process that you don't even think about it. And so
Yeah.
every phase of the process takes 10 times longer than you think. Like when you're cutting the initial round of performances, you're literally just cutting six cameras on just like a blank screen and trying to figure out how the performance is put together. It is so tedious. And yes,
Oh,
your face says it all.
that's so much footage too to like because you're so used to like
Yes.
having cutaways and you don't have to worry about everyone's coverage,
Yeah.
but everyone's coverage is always on, well, not always, but almost always on screen, and that's like definitely
A
daunting
hundred
from
percent.
perspective.
Oh, it was crazy. And we were stealing reaction shots from all over the place. There were a couple moments we like green screen actors in different locations just because we needed a reaction here and there. And this is all kudos to our editor, Eric Vogt Nielsen, who is incredible and who
Oh
has
yeah.
three films coming out this year. He is so, so unbelievably talented. Yes, he is someone you should definitely have on your radar.
Okay.
Many of the short films that you're referring to, he edited. He's been a friend of ours since I want to say the start of high school, like really has been someone in our
Oh
lives for a long
wow.
time. And so we trusted him to cut our performances because we came up with him in theater. And that helped the process go a little quicker than it might have because he is so, so keyed into performance in the
Oh.
same way that we are. And then when we got to the Screenlife portion of it, that was where we get into the animation territory here. So you hear animators, they talk about a wireframe, and you just sort of do a full pass of the film with a wireframe, and then you present it to producers. They give notes on the cut. Same deal with us. Instead of a wireframe, we're doing screen recordings of our computer screens and using those to build that first cut. So yes, when you're punching into a close-up of a text message, it is grainy and it is not looking good, and it is tough to watch that cut. But that's how we built it. So the old
Oh.
adage of you rewrite a film three times is so true in screen life because when you're in post, you are animating and so you're building new moments, and then because you have ADR with your cast, you actually can add all this dialogue and really beef up and enhance your film. So our ADR script was 165 pages.
For a 90-minute movie.
And it's a 90-minute movie. Yes, thank you, Garrett.
And that was just the ADR.
Yeah.
Just the ADR.
Oh my God. That and like how did you I feel like going from script to that is such a challenge. Like when you were writing it, were you writing it imagining these? Like how was that? Were you imagining it as screen life, and what was that writing process like in terms of trying to imagine this? And like were you scripting text and things like that while you were writing
Mm.
this like the initial passes of the script? How did that work?
I think a lot of our earliest work was scripting. Like we were not,
Cool.
yeah, a lot of our earliest work together, like on the developmental side, we were not directing the movie on the page. With this project specifically, we were interrogating every page as we were writing it. I think our first draft we wrote very, very quickly because the movie came together so fast. But
Yeah.
as we did have a pocket of time, especially during prep, where we were directing the movie on the page. And so there's certain things that we left in the script, potentially like little Easter eggs for ourselves that, hopefully didn't bump as we were sending the script around. But we more so than any project that we had done to date, we directed the film on the page beforehand. So we conceived of it as a screen life film. We conceived of the reaction shots that we were interested in. We conceived of the side conversations, the text conversations, the POV. But it took ages and ages to really, ages and ages of prep on the front end. But I don't think we would have been able to do that had we not set out and directed it on the page.
That's so cool. I like that phrase directing it on the page because I feel like that is such an important thing. If you want to do screen life or like found footage the right way, you want to make sure like you're keeping all that together because that is it's like a
Yeah.
pinboard of everything and making sure it's all connected and it all makes sense. Especially because found footage fans are so eagle-eyed with trying to find holes and stuff too, as you guys probably have seen on the internet. So that's got to be kind of daunting, but also like
Mm.
really incredibly satisfying to see it all come together as beautifully as it does and as seamlessly as it does.
Thanks, Mary Beth. We're definitely nervous we're curious to see how people receive this film because of the sort of unconventional nature, the way that it came together. And just to go back to the writing process a little bit of how crazy it was, just to give you a sense of
Yeah.
timeline, is So we put this movie together off of a treatment because we were locked at home trying to figure out what was possible, what wasn't possible. We like didn't start writing because we weren't sure what SAG would allow us to do because of safety at the time.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's a good point too. It feels like it was so long ago when it really was not that long ago.
It feels so long ago because the movie's become a full period piece at this point, which is sort of
It's so,
crazy to
yes,
say.
isn't that crazy? I was watching it, I'm like, oh my God, this is a period piece of
Yeah,
lockdown and like not going out on dates with like your
Yes.
quarant like making sure you're
yeah,
quarantining. Like that was like,
Uh-huh.
oh, this language feels so dated, but it really is not. Like it's interesting time capsule of like current
totally.
moment.
Yes. Oh my, I'm so glad you say. Okay. So yes, that's like so
Okay.
our hope. And like we hope that there's a bit of nostalgia with it, but also a cringy nature of like, oh my gosh, do you remember that time? Like we hope that
Brings you
all of
back.
those,
Ugh.
yeah. But there was this, when we were putting it together, there was this moment where truly our producers came to us and they were like, listen, if we want to do this, we need a draft to go out with, and y'all have less than 2 weeks. And so we wrote the first draft of this in less than 2 weeks, which no one should ever do. And it's why we would have loved more development on this film. It's funny that this is our first feature that we got to write and direct because it's the one that we've developed far less than any other. Like we were on a film that was supposed to go, and then COVID put it the complete kibosh on that one. We'd been developing that one for what, 3 or 4 years at that point, Gare? Like
Yeah,
all of our
totally.
development went into that one, and so this one was truly fly by the seat of your pants. And of course, all of we like a bit less than a month to prep and put this thing together to like cast, pre-production, like all of that. And we were using every waking second to revise the script, to meet with our cast and talk about character and whatever we could do to have a development period because we
Mhm.
truly had none. And that's why in post we used every bit of time that we had to rewrite, or whenever our post-production partners came to us and they're like, hey, would another pickup day be useful? We were like, would
And
it be
you were like,
useful? Like,
please.
yes. We'll take any minute that we have to shoot more.
Wait, that's insane. Like, this is okay. I love this and also hate this about the indie horror world, where it's like, it's so fucking cool that you could make something like this that's so polished and like have that. I mean, I know the post-production is much longer, but the fact that it started as like a less than 2 week thing and came out to this is so cool. And also, I wish we had more time as indie horror filmmakers. You know what I mean? It's like so cool, and also like, oh please, it's that push and
Yeah.
pull so much. But that's great. How long did you have to shoot then? Like, how many days did you guys have to film?
So we did 12 days of principal photography. So it
Me
was
too.
so
Isn't
great.
that
Yeah.
awful?
Yeah.
12
Yeah. But
Sorry.
what can you make? But
Yeah.
aren't you impressed with how much you were able to make in
Oh
12
God, yeah. I
days?
mean, again, what it keeps on going with like the indie horror of like we shot a feature film in 12 days, and I feel like I want to wear
Yes.
that on my shirt all the time of like everyone.
Honestly.
I feel like I'm a champion that I can we can film. We all need a shirt that said with the 12-day film club.
Yeah.
Seriously though, we had 3 pickup days that like we have to acknowledge because those were so
Yeah.
helpful. But like that
Yeah.
12 days, it was so insane. And I think that uh like truly it's our experience in theater and it's our experience like
True.
I came up in television and worked on like shows from like the broadcast, like they were penny pinching on every episode. You are directing midway through the
Oh, okay.
season and they're trying to save their whole budget. Like truly came from that world. And then, the other level of like you are going so over budget and days over, it's crazy. And so sort of saw the like everything in between. And then we grew up doing black box theater. So we sort of had to learn how to make something out of nothing, quite frankly. And we like to think that we used all of those tools here. I don't know that we're so conscious of that, but even just the way that we filmed a lot of the like inside the house when we were on location with our actors, like wandering through that apartment, the way that GoPros work, the signals were such that we couldn't get audio and visual synced up on our monitor. And so there were scenes where I was on the monitor watching and Garrett was on the Comtex listening, having to hide in closets in the apartment so that we could get the entire scene and actually watch it. And that truly was like us sharing, like we had to share a brain and we would just like huddle up after, like, did you get what you need? Did you get? And we just made do, I suppose.
That's wild. And I do think the theater background definitely that has to have helped you like be scrappy and be like, all right, here's how we're gonna do it. And no one's gonna notice because magic. The cinematic slash theatrical magic. Whoa.
Totally. And
Wow.
there's also the old adage that it's what they say about plays they're never done, they just open. I think as far as like I think that is in our bones in the deepest sense. And I think we are very excited. We could have continued as everyone could. You can continue tinkering with your projects forever, but I think we
Forever.
feel very lucky that this film is like it's a fun ride. I think it's a like a really fun who done it, how done it. Like we feel really really lucky that we were able to get such awesome footage and like such a cool movie in the can, and then we're able to sort of animate around it.
That's so amazing. So how did it work then doing like chemistry, getting that chemistry between the friends? Because you're filming separately. So how did that work in terms of establishing that chemistry off camera and then translating it to the separate screens when they're almost always separate?
It's a great question. A lot of our cast did know one another initially,
Okay.
so there were some pre-existing friendships, although not all of them. And so I think something the two of us were adamant about was you sort of sacrifice mess for chemistry, or cleanliness, excuse me, for chemistry. And I think we wanted especially the early portions of the film before everything goes wrong. We wanted this friend group to feel lived in. We wanted people talking over one another. We wanted people to feel comfortable improvising. We wanted people comfortable sharing any ideas and suggestions they had, but we wanted to take our time there. We wanted to allow our cast to play. And they were all game to do so. I think people also at that time were starved for social interaction. And so showing up to rehearsal every day, essentially, or showing, we wanted to allow people the opportunity to play. And our cast was so game to experiment with one another that chemistry in a lot of ways, like them roasting one another, a lot of that, some of that is in the
Yeah.
script, but also some of that is a cast member being like, "Hey, I got an all. Do you mind if we go again and like I'll throw something out there?" Like everyone was so game to play and
Wait, that's
bring
so
themselves.
cool.
It was
I
cool.
love that
Well, we
though.
had to, like, our cast is so incredible, and many of them come from these varying backgrounds of whether it's comedy or theater or improv. They have this incredible, and many of them started acting when they were quite young, which was really important. I mean,
Mm,
Mary Beth, this was like one of our most important conversations going into this project is we're like, if we're directing actors from home and they're working virtually, we can't fake the chemistry. And so we need actors where
yeah.
they mostly know each other. And then the other thing was where we have a rapport with them. So 90% of our cast we had worked with before in theater, which was
Oh,
essential.
cool. That is essential. I didn't even think
Yeah.
about like I didn't even think about
Yeah.
having to have a rapport with y'all too and making sure that
Yeah.
y'all mesh together as
Uh-huh.
like collaborators because
Oh,
it was you
yeah.
said it was all and it was shot all virtually remote like a lot of their stuff was shot
Vast
virtually.
majority.
Almost all of it. Like all of the stuff where they're wandering around the apartment and the house, that was in person. We were there. It was a skeleton crew. We had to keep it so.
Yeah.
But every time that they're at home, like over Zoom, that is our actors in their homes wearing all of the hats. Our cinematographer is working with them to set up their cameras from home. Our sound mixer is working with them to set up their audio. They're slating every shot themselves because they grew up and they have the technique. They were able to do it so seamlessly. And by the end, they're like
That's
having a
so
blast. And Garrett said we wrote it on the page. We did, or directed on the page. We did. But we also totally threw that out when we were shooting and allowed them to just go off book and just have fun with it. And that's where a lot of the magic really happened.
You guys really were thrown in the deep end with this like first feature. That's wild. But I love that. Like you really because I've got chemistry virtually is so much harder to and I, again working with them previously is helpful, but that's
Mm.
so amazing to see how y'all just like said, "All right, we have all these hurdles. We're gonna just deal with it." And you made a movie. Again, that theater indie background, I think really helped because it really does come together and they feel like friends. It's always that hard part in these movies where it's like, do they actually feel like friends? But the over talk was really funny. I was wondering how you guys like got that to feel natural, and that's cool to hear that they got to play. Like
Yeah.
they got to just, yeah, wow.
Thanks, Mary Beth.
There's
Well,
nothing more important than that.
thank you so much. Like you it's an accomplishment and just to hear the work that goes into it is so cool. So
Mm.
congratulations, seriously. And hopefully everyone will check this out when it's out on VOD on July 15th and also be in select theaters on July 11th. Don't log off. Thank you guys so much for chatting with me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us on.
Thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely.